What's up, guys? Welcome back to the GSL Finals, as we are seeing a very interesting story unfold, one where MMA is up 2-0. Can you believe this?
He is kicking some serious ass.
Yeah.
Every time MVP makes a tiny mistake, whether it's the choice of his build or the movement of his siege shanks, MMA is there putting him in a chokehold.
He is, and you know, let me tell you, as somebody who, and I know you can speak from experience as well as professional gamers, that is stressful. If you're the favorite and you go into that game and you're actually like running all over the map and he's like slapping down your expansions and then you get to another base, you're like, oh God, he's got that one as well. I mean, that's a difficult situation, especially considering I'm pretty sure that MVP was very, very confident going into this.
Yeah, I think you're right. MVP, I think he was very confident. I was talking to him before he went in the booth. He was smiling. He was jovial. He was happy.
Yeah.
No more. This is a bad day for him right now.
Well, he wants to win this. I mean, winning this proves that he's basically the best player in the world right now. But, you know, if MMA wins this, you know, he's going to have to wait another day, another GSL to become the victor.
Gives Nesty another chance to pass him up.
Yeah, Nesty could come back. All right. So I believe both players are, in fact, ready if we look into that game.
They are.
So, guys, make some noise for game number 3 with MMA against MVP. By the way, this is the battle of the alphabet here, Artosis, with MMA and MVP here at GSL. I mean,
at BLC.
All right, a shot here of both players. And now the game is loaded, so we're going to throw that up on screen for you guys. Let's get these players introduced. In the upper right, the Game Genie Terran. Although right now it's not exactly looking like that version of Game Genie is working with this console. He's trying to make it work on his ideas. I am MVP. Meanwhile, at the bottom right side of the map, we have somebody who is showing a lot of potential and seems to be engineering one of the biggest upsets we would have seen in a GSL Finals. Make some noise for MMA.
Players MMA.
I forgot because we've been doing the BlizzCon cast and I'm supposed to wait for the voice to come up. I'm like, MMA, and then MMA comes up. All right.
No one's perfect, Tasteless, but if there was a perfect person, it would be you.
Oh, you flatter me. But I'll always take those compliments. Now, we have a barracks coming up here for MVP. This is a big map. It's an open map, and it is a map where you don't really get contains up very much.
Ooh, did you see that? 2 SCVs queued up for MMA at 13 supply already. This can mean nothing other than a command center first. MMA is bringing the builds out today, Tasteless.
Yeah, he is. This is actually a nice build because, let's face it, MVP, I guarantee you, would never double barracks rush in the middle of the map. After being down 2 games, he's like, okay, time to bring out the serious builds, the ones I'm very comfortable with, not the ones I throw in there to throw my opponent off. That means that this expansion here for MMA is going to be a very safe and secure one.
You know, I think you're right. MVP is going to look at that last game and think to himself, okay, my tanks were in the middle of the map. They weren't siege. I got caught off guard. I was doing so well till then. I think we're going to see MVP go for a similar game this time and just try to be even more methodical. But that's what MMA wants him to do. He wants him to go for a more passive game and be more careful. That's why he's gone command center first.
Yeah. All right, as you can see here, we have more barracks on the way. Now, if you do get that command center up and running and you're not really tampered with it all by the opposing player, it's pretty easy to get map control, and this should force MVP into going mech again.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Well, is he going to get a second gas? It looks like probably not. Ooh. We have MVP doing something very interesting right now.
What's he doing?
He is actually, he's got his 1 barracks with a reactor making. He's making a factory, and he's making a second barracks. This is weird. This is not something that we see every day, especially out of MVP. In fact, he's getting a second gas as well. This is kind of wild.
Well, these are just, you know, 2 pretty opposite strategies. I mean, one, clearly he wants to, let me be more specific here, excuse me. MVP clearly wants to do something very specific and deadly in the next 5 minutes here. And MMA is gearing up for a much later game. He's saying, no, man, we're going to get to the end game. That's where I'm most comfy, and that's what I'm going to try to do in this situation.
Well, you know, I'm going to be very interested to see when MMA starts upgrades on his Marines.
Yeah.
He is actually adding, he's going right up to 4 barracks, so he's going to have a lot of units. And what he's going to have to do is completely swarm the attack that's incoming. It's going to be a siege tank Marine attack, a ton of Marines, a bunch of siege tanks, and most likely siege mode as well. Bring a couple of SCVs, make a couple bunkers. But really the swarm has to hit. He has to play it like Zerg, get a bunch of Marines, a bunch of SCVs out as well, and just hit MVP with everything he's got before he gets entrenched.
More siege tanks coming out here and Marines. MVP is going to have to do something very, very soon. Because right now the sand is running out of the hourglass. This is why StarCraft 2, just like StarCraft 1, is really all about expansions. It's about acquiring resources and then using those resources, spending them wisely so that you can execute a strategy that is going to outdo your opponent.
That is right. Siege mode almost halfway done. Combat shields have started for MMA, and that is huge. If that finishes before any real confrontation, it'll be big. And oh, Tasteless, he's sending a few SCVs.
All right.
5 of them on the way.
MVP is committing, but will it work? If MMA wins this, I don't know what MVP is going to do because he's going to be so behind. One trick you can do is try to force them into siege mode, even though that hasn't quite completed yet. Force them into siege mode, and then as they siege up, run away, and you try to buy time.
Well, here we go. The siege tanks are going to make this very difficult for him. Of course, if he makes any bunkers as well, that will be huge. What will MMA do now? This is looking like game 1 again, but more powerful from both sides.
All right, the bunker's under fire. He's going to back out and salvage that. Will he salvage that in time? Yes, he will. Getting those minerals back here.
Going after this orbital command now. He realizes if he can kill that, he could even go ahead and make his own command center and still be fine. But does siege up, making some bunkers as well. Ooh, there's even Marauders out, but no stim. Combat shields are about to finish. I wonder if we're just going to see him try to swarm out right away, because once that bunker is done, Tasteless, I feel like that is the point of no return.
Bunker's at half health. The Marines are going for the orbital here. They're going for the orbital. He's going to start repairing it.
Oh, this is really bad.
And it's gone.
MVP fighting back. The SCVs coming out. The bunker is completed. Loads up the bunker. A nice flank with SCVs as well. Can MVP hold right now? He must hold.
Right now, MMA in a lot of trouble. He needs to get to these siege tanks. Those are the damage dealers. The Marines are just there to absorb it.
Oh,
man.
MVP holds it. And now the supplies. 42 against 27. Looking so good for MVP, but I don't think the game is quite over yet. Still with 4 barracks, and they're right in his base, so he can just rally out so quickly. He's going to have another shot to break this contain.
The Marines are moving out now. The siege tank is coming down. And, God, I don't know. I mean, this is just... He looks pretty dead. I mean,
okay.
Here we go.
This is it.
Again.
And we'll see, does he have enough? Only 2 siege tanks there. More units are on the way, picking up a lot of SCVs. So even if he breaks out of here, I don't know if that's going to be enough, but it looks like he might not be able to. 15 supply to 43, and MVP is going to come back, Tasteless.
MVP just doing so well. It was a very risky strategy, but it was one that worked out beautifully. As MMA is going to have to start going with different builds. MVP, you know, he's down 2 games, but he's okay to do a somewhat of an all-in build here.
Well, we have 5 supply to 46 right now, Tasteless. That's pretty one-sided.
Yeah, it's pretty one-sided.
Don't worry, he's still mining with the mule.
All right, GG. We have MVP coming back into this. Don't count him out yet.
That's right, Tasteless. He says, you know what? I can do this too. And like you said, if he had lost that game, this would be an unrecoverable series.
Yeah.
But he chose a very powerful all-in strategy, executed it brilliantly, and now it's 2-1. 2-0, that's scary. 2-1, very workable.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, you know, 2-0, it's like, well, I don't know if I'm ever going to beat this guy. I might just, you know, go 4-0. But now he's saying, all right, no, I can do this. That strategy was great. It's funny that we've had two fairly short Terran versus Terrans today. Normally, even statistically, it's the longest matchup. So I'm curious to see what we're going to see next from these guys. But man, they are so solid.
They are that tasteless.
And look, there's not a lot that MMA could do about that strategy. It's tough. I mean, you go for quick command center and they're prepared. Yeah. What are you going to do?
I mean, when you only have Marines and SCVs to battle, there are so many ways that another Terran player that teched up for some attack like this can really abuse it. We saw the siege tanks are going to deal massive amounts of damage. Everything gets clumped when it's attacking forward. This is a small area. There's a ton of units. The SCVs with only 45 hit points. The Marines getting all clumped in just so tightly together. You know, it's why they're strong and why they're weak. So the siege tanks were beautifully done. And the fact that he hit right after the bunker made a huge difference. If he hits before the bunker and nothing can get in there, maybe it would have gone a different way. Maybe it would have broken out.
I thought he was going to attack before the bunker finished.
Well, that's what you want to do.
That's what you want to do. But then the bunker finished, I thought, oh, God, you know, the bunker's taking so much damage. And in that moment, it's the siege tanks that have to be destroyed because, you know, when you move into a battle, your Marines and your SCVs are all clumped together. So even really good players will actually take the siege tank and right-click into the middle of a group like that and do so much damage. So
it would be just terrible damage, Tasteless.
Terrible damage. So we're going to see what's going to happen shortly here. I don't know. What is our next map? Do you know off the top of your head?
Don't put me on the spot.
I really put you on the spot,
aren't you?
I'm so sorry. Well, whatever map it's going to be, you know, it's going to have to be a map where they have to have perfect strategies because, you know, we're getting to a point in time where it's getting farther and farther to the end of this. A 3-1, if MMA can come back, that would be huge. I think he might end up closing it out. But if it gets to 2-2, I do see MVP coming back.
No, I actually agree with that pretty much all the way. I mean, if it comes back to 2-2 after he's down 2 games, and if we look at those games, the first one was just like the third one. It was just kind of like a build order, like designed to kill this. So it's like, okay, a couple build order losses, let's scrape those away. The other game was very close. He was actually equal in supply with Mech against equal supply in Marine Marauder with just a couple siege tanks mixed in. And that really makes it, that's gross for the Marine Marauder player. But he got caught out of position. So I'm still kind of feeling MVP here.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you are, Joseph. I feel like MVP can win this, but man, if it's a 3-1. And the other question is, we haven't seen any like true run-of-the-mill all-ins, you know, 2 barracks proxied or anything like that. We've seen these sort of weird timing attacks. That attack that we saw back there from MMA, from MVP, is actually a very specific timing attack that if it doesn't work, you're probably going to lose. But yeah, I'm really wondering if we're going to have any crazy all-ins.
Yeah. You really won't transition out of it well, but I see what you're saying here. You know, they're pretty technical. They know what they're doing with it. You know, lifting a barracks or making the early reactor to have extra Marines to hold it off. I mean, these are winning because they are so well executed, because they are so well planned out. They aren't just, you know, some sort of like bit by bit prime move where you just you send in Marines and SCVs and you cross your fingers.
I hope this works. All right, so. We're actually trying to keep this synced up with the Korean broadcast, which is why we haven't cut to commercial, because I want to just cut to commercial and go to the next game. But sit tight, guys. We'll be ready soon. Look, I don't know. MMA surprised me with those first 2 wins.
Of course, I think he surprised both of us. Not the crowd. They're MMA fans.
Well,
so.
no, I mean, I think the crowd might have been surprised, too. It's one thing to root for somebody. It's another thing to you know, see them lose the best player
For some people, that's one and the same. But no, you're quite right, Tasteless.
All right, guys. Are you guys having fun? Yeah? Me too. We have so much in common.
Wow.
Well, guys, there are so many people here.
Yeah.
I think this is actually the largest audience we've ever done by far.
Oh, I would say without any doubt.
You know what's so funny about this? To be totally honest, is when we do GSL, we don't actually get any of public speakers, right? But we